Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Victory Leaders Lounge. Today, I have a different type of guest, still an entrepreneur, but a different type of guest doing a business that I haven't really had a conversation about yet. So this is going to be an interesting one for all of it, for me at least, anyway. So I'll let her introduce herself. Her name is Christine. Christine, you want to tell us about you and what you do?
Sure. I'm Christine Gold, and currently I am in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I actually became a nomad in 2021. And what does that mean? I sold everything and left Canada and toured around in South America for 6 months, became vegan, stopped drinking, stopped doing a lot of things. I am also the facilitator of the Soul Healers community and retreat center. I am the author of Intuition Saved My Life. I also just released a printed 44-card oracle deck called the Empaths Journey. Oh my goodness. I hold mentorships for women who identify as highly sensitive, old soul, and empath. So, because that was me pre-2017, I was in the corporate world. I was on the hamster wheel. I was chasing material things and money and ego-based things until I had my dark night of the soul crash in 2017.
So maybe we could go into just a little bit more of how you help people. So, and maybe how you got there. So you left corporate America, you started this business helping others. You had an awakening, a journey. I'd like to hear more about that, and what got you to where you are right now, and also just what your business model is as a whole, and how you help people.
Sure. Well, I had multiple addictions. I also had anxiety and depression and 2 attempts to die by suicide. So
Sorry to hear that.
And I know there's many of us that are on the edge or have a mask and pretending that they're okay. No, you need to reach out to somebody. What happened for me is I had a health scare, and then I had a video delivered by YouTube. Now, when something drops on your lap or comes out of left field, you have to go, okay, I'm paying attention. I'm not sure what this is or why I'm watching this or why I'm hearing this, whether it's a conversation or something very random. But she basically said my intuition is showing up as anxiety and depression, meaning I'm letting my emotions overwhelm my life, and I'm therefore stuffing them with food and shopping and alcohol and trying to numb out what I'm feeling. So she challenged me to record a video, a 2-minute video, saying why I wanted to work with her. Now, she's an internationally known medium. And, of course, I was like, who am I? Imposter syndrome showed up, and I didn't want to show up. I wanted to hide. I wanted to stay comfortable. All those ego-based, that's what ego likes to do. It's your protection system. But many of us are living in that all the time. So I record the video, and 6 months later, I was certified medium. And what does that mean? I am the bridge to the other side. But you know what? We all have that ability. We're all intuitive. We all have psychic abilities. We all have clairvoyance or clairalience or clairsentience. It's just a matter of claiming it, acknowledging it, having practices to attune to it and to know what it is. And many times it shows up as a gut. Many of us dismiss our gut, our spidey senses, our, ooh, something's off. I'm sure you've had that where you come across something, you're like, oh, okay, what's going on here? That's a sign to pay attention. But many of us are running with blinders on in full throttle mode, trying to survive. We don't pay attention to any of the signs. And then we get into, like myself, where I had panic attacks. I mean, I was a mess. And I call it the divine 2x4 to the head. That's how spirit spoke to me very loudly, because I wasn't listening to the subtle signs. So after hundreds of free readings, I came out of the spiritual closet on Facebook, of all places. And I was expecting a lot of judgment, and I was so scared, fearful. Everyone's like, oh yeah, we knew that. You're always kind of weird. And And I never fit into a box. I was a rebel, but now I'm a rebel with a cause, not without a cause.
That's good.
Yeah. On the last podcast I was on this morning, I'm a boundary breaker. I always have been. I always got in trouble in school because I questioned authority. I had critical thinking. I pushed back and said, no, I'm not following this model. I'm not going along with this. I want to be me. I want to be unique. We don't have these fingerprints and DNA for a reason, for no reason, right? So after doing that, I mean, I also became a Reiki Master, animal communicator, because it's all, we are always speaking the language of spirit, whether it's plants or animals, Mother Earth. It's always around us, signs, symbols. I don't know if you get signs or symbols, JJ.
Well, I have conversations with my wife about this all the time, because she says that sometimes she can see auras, but she can definitely feel and understand them. And I have difficulty with that, but you know what? I'm very open-minded. And so I think that I close myself off to certain things, but I try to learn as much about it as possible, because I know that when I'm around certain people, I just feel better than when I am around other people. And I don't even have to be having a conversation with that. And so whether it's energy or whether it's spirit or whatever it is, there's something to that. And,
Yep.
the vibrations, some people call it, but it really doesn't make any difference how you say it. There's definitely something there.
You're an empath. You feel.
I feel.
You feel, right? That, and 20% of the world's population identifies as that. Whether, when I was growing up, I was told to shut off my gifts. I was told not to talk about grandma who's trying to talk to me. I was told we don't talk about that here. That's scary. Or there's a religious connotation, that there's that aspect, or science didn't prove it. Those are all those things, right? That we go into protection because we're like, okay, I don't feel safe to be myself, so I'm going to shut it down. And then I'm just going to put on a mask and put on a show, and maybe somebody will like me because I don't like myself. That's all. It's all of that. And what I say about people, other people around me, the people that love me, I said, if you're feeling sad, feel sad and don't pretend. If you're feeling mad, feel mad. If you're feeling happy, be happy. Because many of us, when I say, how are you? What do we normally get? I'm good.
I'm good. I'm great.
Good.
I'm doing okay.
Yeah. But they're underneath, and you can feel it right away. You're like, oh no. I call it the BS meter. I'm like, no. Within 5 seconds, I'm like, no. And I call people out in a loving way. I'll go, yeah, I try to, because really a medium is a bridge to the other side. And in the mediumship work that I've done, and the Reiki healing that I've done, and the chaplain work that I've done, it's all rooted in God.
Mm-hmm.
And we are God with a spark of human. We are on this physical earth. We are here for lessons. And it's really all about love and healing and forgiveness. And that's all I believe in. And that's the work that I do with women who identify like me. Really, it comes down to a worthiness wound.
Okay.
And the other part, I just did a workshop on the narcissist, the energy vampire.
Mm.
They are mainly in family, and government and politics and corporations. The problem is that we want to help people. We're always in service. We want to fix. And we dismiss our inner guidance, our GPS, our inner GPS. Because somewhere, usually from growing up, we all have trauma of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
We learn to adapt and go, oh, I spot the narcissist, the dark person right away. I got to go and help them. Narcissists like, oh yeah, I see the empath right away. And I can feed off of that until they say no more, or they get sick, or something happens. So, but we both get something out of it. That was the workshop. The premise is about healing the power struggle forever.
Okay.
The job of the empath is to observe and not absorb. Meaning, if you're feeling something, you need to take a step back, but you also need to work on protecting yourself, meditating, prayer, chakra work, nature, getting outside, animals. Animals and empaths, they kind of go, they're like peas in a pod.
I think I get along with my dogs better than I do anyone else in the world.
Thank you. Yes. So that is the work that I do. I help women move past their and heal their worthiness wound and step into their power. I mean, I just recorded a video about the lion's share of healing. Tomorrow is the Lionsgate portal. That's a whole nother conversation. But the lion, if you think about cat energy, right? Cats own their energy. They're the original Reiki masters. The Egyptians revered them as gods for a reason. And same with lions or lionesses or tigers or whatever. They own who they are. No apologies. And that's what I'm trying to get across. That's what I am getting across to people. It's a choice. You can choose to be a victim. And I get that. You're a survivor, then you're in victim consciousness, and now you're thriving. You can move that needle to thriving at any time, and it starts here. It really does.
It does. You know, as a matter of fact, most people, I call it a failure loop, but really what it is that you almost get addicted to that pain, and you almost get addicted to the suffering that you have as a result of all of the trauma or whatever got you in that situation in the first place. Men, women, it really doesn't matter.
It's your story, and
it's our story.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I completely understand with what you're saying. And by the way, I love what you do. A lot of people don't acknowledge that, you know, there's that spiritual part of everything. Even people that go to church all the time. I mean, if you believe in God and you believe in the devil, then you have to believe that there is both sides of things, and mediums are important. And by the way, there are many different types of mediums. I do know this.
Yes.
They're not the ones that just communicate with the spirit world, but they're also ones that just have a deep understanding of our energy and our spirit.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like what you do.
Yeah. And I like to call it shaman energy because I have a past life in Peru as a maiden back in 1491. Something that, you know, I talk about past lives too. And we've all had past lives, many, many, many. But in this lifetime here, we signed a soul's contract. We even chose our family, which a lot of my clients are like, oh no, I didn't choose my mom. Are you kidding? No way. But we have chosen. And the kids that are coming in, the beautiful crystalline children, the kids, the grandkids, they are preloaded with the information that we have right now. So I'm excited because these kids are like so wise. They talk about things that we're maybe just learning about. And I tell people to embrace it, to say, yeah, tell me about your dreams, or tell me about, you know, your grandfather. And a lot of them will reincarnate as well as somebody's son that passed. I see that quite a bit. So that's a whole nother conversation.
I was going to say that there are definitely the belief systems that go along with that as well. And you know, that's more of like a Buddhist mentality, and that's okay. That's okay. I don't judge one way or the other. I just, you know, there's definitely more to us than what meets the eye. And I do see that with kids, especially they're light years ahead of where I was when I was that age. And you do wonder where that divine wisdom comes from, because, you know, these things that we're dealing with now, I mean, let's just look at one example, like technology. How in the heck at the age of 4 or 5 years old can they pick up something that took us forever to figure out and just know it?
Yeah, I agree. That's like an Atlantean energy as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So absolutely. How could they not? I mean, there's kids that are just born athletes, born singers. I mean, we all have the ability to do all of that, but some people, they don't even have to try.
No, you're right.
That's a natural talent, natural ability.
Yep. And I talk about leadership. You know, there are some people that have just a natural ability to connect with others and a natural ability to create influence in their environment. However, there are a lot of people, and these are the people that I end up dealing with, there are a lot of people that, they have to be taught these things.
Yes.
And, but the ones that just, it comes easily, you always wonder, right? Is it your upbringing? Is it just something that comes naturally with your personality? I mean, are you just blessed with the ability to be able to do these things right off the cuff? You just almost wonder where it comes from, and you don't know their background, you don't know their family, you don't know the environment they were raised in, and so you never know the real story, maybe what education they had when they were younger, but they just have this almost divine ability to be able to lead. Skull and Bones from Scotland just said hello. But yeah, they just have this divine ability to lead, and you almost wonder where it comes from, because we all wanted to develop that from, well, I did. I spent so much time learning because I just wanted to be the best person I could for everybody in my environment. I have a military background, obviously.
Okay, there you go.
But, obviously I wanted to be the best person I could for the person to my left and right, especially when we deployed. Hi, Janita. How are you? But yeah, so you do wonder where some of that comes from. So tell me a little bit about what you do as a service. So you said that you're an empath, a medium, and so what do you do for the women to help them empower themselves? You mentioned workshops, but I would imagine there's some coaching, maybe there's some education. There might be something else that goes along with that. I'm really curious to hear about it.
Oh, absolutely. I have a 12-week mentorship, and I take them all through the beginning stages, because many of them are either just starting their spiritual journey or in the midst of it. And it's about talking about and healing their inner child, because that's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talked about that childhood piece, right? Shutting everything down.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be safe. I need the gold star. I get that. Intuition development, and then talking about the 8 clairs, like how do you pick up information? I mean, my biggest clair for me is I feel. That's the first thing I pick up, and I would guess that for you as well, JJ. I don't know about anybody else, but a lot of it, my second would be like seeing things, images. And then hearing, like sometimes music. I'll wake up with a song in my head. I'm like, okay. And I teach people how to dream better, what astral traveling is, what past lives are, the Akashic records. I do deep dive, and they have to do soul work, and they have to show their work, because if you're not doing the work, I can't work with you. I can't. You're not ready. So, and really, when are we ever ready? I just want people to deep dive, not just, as I say, I don't look for half-assing anything. I want the whole ass, if I can say that. Jump right in.
Hey, say what you want. I'm a military guy, so you never know what you're going to get when you tune into one of my shows.
No doubt. Yeah, because really it falls on them. And when they invest in themselves, and not just money, but energy and time, and it's all connected, they start to get their aha moments and epiphanies, and I get to watch them light up. I mean, our chakra system, there's 7 chakras, there's way more, is like the inner Christ mystery, I like to call it. And once you start to develop your root and clear everything off, and everything lights up, you start to receive information. And at first you're like, oh, I don't know. This is a lot, because you're struggling with your ego. And now the ego is not the enemy. I talked about this earlier too. No. It is the spine. I call it the spinal system. It is your back. It has your back. It's your protection. But many of us have been living in fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And I teach people how to stop living for other people and live for yourself first, because it comes down to a lot of the women I work with are martyrs, perfectionists, overachievers. I mean, they can never get enough gold stars. It's an empty, it's like having a hole in your leg. Like, the hole in the bucket just keeps leaking.
Sure. To a certain extent, we all want that. I mean, to be honest with you, we need that acknowledgement, and sometimes we just need to know that we're doing a good job.
Oh yeah, once in a while. But if that's all you look for, and especially on social media, I need those likes. Oh, I need those comments. Oh, this, you gotta pull back and go, whoa, where is this coming from? And I
Right.
have something I need to address in myself. I have an old belief system. I have it all really does come down to abandonment too, and worthiness, like not feeling worthy, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, not feeling validated. And in my group, you're seen, you're heard, you're validated. And I will even say we give you a little kick in the butt too. You got to be responsible and accountable.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the healing journey. That's part of the work that I do. But I also challenge belief systems and we break them down. Like in 3 sessions, you give me one problem, we will solve it. It sounds like a song. I think it's a song. Anyways, that's
Vanilla
how
Ice,
it
right?
works. Because if they don't change, it reflects in the coaching that I do and the readings and healings I've been doing my whole life. Even when I was in corporate sales, I have been all listening to people and I've been coaching them my whole life.
Yep.
Because people will come up to me. I don't know about you, JJ. If you're an empath, you have strangers, you have people telling you their life story.
I do, out of nowhere. That's awesome. So it's almost like you take it's almost like a holistic approach to healing.
It is.
It's a therapy, but it's not a therapy. You teach them how to just feel differently. And so I want to hear, you mentioned it, and I would imagine if I don't know about it, then a lot of other people probably don't know about it. But you mentioned the clairs. There were 4 clairs.
Oh no, there's 8.
Oh, 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know what that means.
So when you receive information, where do you normally receive it? Do you hear it? Do you feel it? Do you know it? Do you see it? Do you taste it? Do you smell it? Or do you touch it, like psychometry? That's touching an object. Sometimes in readings, people will bring me their belongings of their past loved ones that have passed. And because we leave energy everywhere. We leave signatures everywhere. We are energetic beings. How can we not?
So is that short for something? Clairs? Is that Claire?
Yeah, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairalience. Those are in the psychic world. And I teach people how to develop it, strengthen it. No, you don't have to have them all 8. Maybe you're really well versed in 1 or 2. You don't need to have all 8. That's an ego thing, wanting to attain. I know everything and I have everything. No. And it's really about being humble and leaning in and tuning in and having sacred space and ritual, because that's where you pick up the juicy information. When you're in rest, when you're in reflection, when you're in some type of art as well, singing, dancing, painting, creating. We're meant to create. We're creative beings.
Yes.
We're not meant to pay bills and die. We're not. And whoever told you
didn't
that,
cost money, it'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it?
that was based on their beliefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all intergenerational stuff, trauma,
Yes.
patterns. Oh, this is how we do this in our family. And it's like, really? No. I would question all the time. Remember I was grounded one summer. Can't remember what I did, but I remember being grounded because I spoke up. And I said no. Anyways.
I think we've all been there. I have a 14 and a 17-year-old right now. And so that is something that is definitely fairly common. We try not to punish. Usually that's a last resort, but I'll tell you what, they do a very, very good job at testing their boundaries, which is what they're supposed to be doing as a teenager.
That's right. And many of us don't even know, like 50, 40-year-olds don't have no boundaries. They don't even know what that means. And I have an excellent video for kids and for adults on how to bully proof yourself, because there's a lot of bullies out there and you can shut them down in 5 steps. So, and really that's what it is, shutting them down, because they're looking for your pain points. They're looking for your weakness. They're looking for your triggers. Do you have any buttons? Anybody? I used to. I will catch myself sometimes. I mean, we're human, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
and go, oh, geez, I've
Yeah.
seen that before. What am I doing?
Yeah. Well, I definitely know I have triggers, and I think most of us do. Sometimes we don't even catch them before they send us off in a loop. But
Mhm.
that's one of those things that you have to work on constantly, and you have to work hard just to identify what those buttons or triggers or whatever you want to call them are. I absolutely love what you do. It's a holistic way of being able to handle these things, and especially for people who have a really deep sense of understanding, how they learn, which is what the clairs are. If it seems like to me, then you kind of connect them on a deeper level with their own spirit and help them heal that way. I just think that that's more amazing than what I thought it was going to be today, to be quite honest with you. I'm open-minded, but I don't know all about this stuff.
Hey, I get it. We've been trained, like the school system, put you in this box and you have to follow along. We don't belong
Yes.
in boxes, by the
No.
way. The only one that does is my cat. She loves those boxes. Like
Oh,
when I walk in this home,
they'll find a tube and somehow wedge themselves inside. And the only thing you'll see is their head. I've
that's
had that happen
right.
before too.
They like feeling cozy and safe and snuggly. And that's what the ego likes to do too. But
Yeah.
the ego is really, at the end of the day, edging God out. That's what it stands for. One of my mentors taught me that.
Interesting.
And anytime you're dismissing your natural self and abilities, you're dismissing God because and let me tell you, God didn't make a mistake.
No,
We're here for a reason, guys. We're
we
here.
are.
What is it? What is your reason? What's your purpose? And let me tell you, it's not your job. Many people go to the job. I work with a lot of corporate people too that are like, I tried cold plunging, Wim Hof method. I went to this retreat. I tried ayahuasca. I've been through years of talk therapy. And now I'm going to try spirituality. Why is spirituality the last resort?
It
Why?
shouldn't be. If you say you're strong in faith, then that should really be the first thing. And one of the most important things about faith, and this, I'm a Christian, so
Yeah,
that's just my belief system. No
I was
one's wrong.
baptized. I'm a Christian as well.
Sure. I mean, but obviously there's no belief system that's necessarily wrong.
That's
What you
right.
believe is what you believe. But, I truly think that if we give our hearts and our soul to God and all of our worries, then you can't get grace unless you do that. And so you'll just go through this revolving, and it's okay to have a job. I would never, ever tell anybody that it's not, but that shouldn't
No.
be what you feel your purpose in life is.
Yes. What lights you up?
Yes. And so developing that is very, very difficult. And the ego, that can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing, but you really have to have balance with what
Yeah.
that with how much you let that ego in, because you need to be confident, but you do not need to be cocky. You do
No,
not need to be
humble
arrogant.
confidence. Humble
Yes.
confidence. Yeah.
You got to be confident. And usually when somebody doesn't have a whole lot of experience, then that's when they don't let other people tell them that they're wrong, because they don't want to be wrong. And then that's when the ego turns into a dangerous thing. And a
That's
lot of people let it
pride.
get to that point.
That's pride.
It's
You know,
pride.
gotta
Yeah.
watch that
Ego,
one.
pride. Yeah. It's balancing that id, the ego, and the super ego. That super ego is that ultimate wisdom that we all wish that we had all the time, but it's not necessarily the easiest thing to keep at the top of our mind all the time.
No, no. And as I developed the mediumship, and like I said, I felt I was coaching people naturally. So coaching for me was a natural fit. And I worked with Ed J. Smith out of London, England. He's
Okay.
got a huge group. Expert coaching. I am now certified as an ICF coach, International Coaching Federation. So
Excellent.
the proof is in the pudding. I take people through systems and checks and balances, because not only just for them, but for me, I don't want to miss a step, because I
Right.
feel that's really important in laying groundwork when you're doing the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, we are almost at 30 minutes, but I have to ask you, because the show is, all of these Victory Leaders Lounge is all about my guests. So, do you have any message that you would like to impart, whether it's wisdom or a service or a special or whatever that you want to leave as a message to the audience?
I'd say, you can learn and absorb as much as you want, like a sponge. The second part and the most difficult part is integrating it into your life.
Mm.
Now, whether you follow me on Facebook or join my free soul healers community, or listen to my, and you already said this, heart-led, soul-fed podcast. You were talking about heart and soul. That, and I've got tons of videos and wisdom for you. So find what feels good and leave the rest. Really.
Love it. I do absolutely love it. Please, Christine, after we get done today, if you wouldn't mind putting your actual links, if you have a link tree or if you have the link to your group, feel free to put that on as many of the platforms that you can find this video. I'll share all of my links so that it'll be easy for you to find. But I would love for you to share that with the audience, because connecting with you could mean the difference between them having a thriving and happy life, and it could mean that they're getting away from all of their demons. And I've been there. I'm a service member. I'll be honest with you. I'm a service member with post-traumatic stress disorder. It's just one of those things that happens, and I've had to fight my demons over the past 10 years as well. And it's not an easy fight if you don't have people that can help you through it. And so whether it's a therapist, or if it's someone like Christine, or if it's a community that you feel comfortable talking to, I don't care. If you never know how good things will be tomorrow unless you live to see tomorrow. So don't go down that rabbit hole. Find somebody that you're comfortable with and just have a conversation. So
absolutely.
And again, I thank you for being a guest. In the audience, if this information resonates with you and you enjoyed it, please like it, subscribe to my YouTube channel, reshare this with your audience. But the most important thing is, if you have a question, or if you wanted to maybe share part of your own story, whatever, keep the conversation going, put a comment below. These things, you don't get visibility on it unless you put it out there. And it's not going to do any good staying in your own head. So do that. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. And thank you for being a guest, Christine. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.